Hi, everybody. Today we're going to be going through a game that has essentially taken up my life for the past month and a half. That would be Baldur's Gate 3. Yeah, this video is coming out a little later than I would have liked it, and again, that's because this game just took so long, which is a good thing, but nonetheless, we're here today to talk about it. So, if for some reason you've been under a rock or, just been asleep for 2 months straight and don't know about this game or it being released, Baldur's Gate 3 is a CRPG by Larian Studios. It came out again back in August, and I have played it to completion. In my opinion, I've done almost everything you can do in one playthrough. And I have some great news for those who haven't been following my playthrough or don't watch my live streams on Twitch, which you should. I have a lot of good things to say about this game. So we're gonna do like we did in the last video. We're gonna go through some pros and cons and where else to start with. Better to start on the pros than to talk about the amount of detail there is in this game. This game is grand in size, grand in narrative, and the fact that there's so much small detail in the game, it's pretty overwhelming, actually. There's lore up the butt behind. There are notes, scrolls, so many different spells. There's so many different ways you can do things in the game with the environment. There's so much voice, like the characters, even like some of the small NPCs that you may never see again, fully voice acted. There's so much passion in this game that is just it's almost unfounded. I mean, it'd be hard to see another. I can't think of another title, maybe The Witcher 3, that comes to mind where there's just this much level of detail. It's incredible. So that's where I want to start with the first pro, just the amount of detail. The second pro would have to be the world itself. It's so engrossing. Me, as someone who I've never played Dungeons and Dragons like a tabletop. I've never like had like an experience like with it. I think I played Baldur's Gate 1 and 2, but I don't remember anything about it because it was so long ago, and I know that that's based on it, but still, like, I don't remember anything about it, so I can't really say more than that. So this is really my first true experience with Dungeons and Dragons, and for someone who doesn't have any knowledge of that to come in here, there was kind of a little steep learning curve. I did play on Tactician, the hardest difficulty, but regardless, this world, there's so much like going on. There is like little, again, this goes back to the first point. There's just so much detail, and you get engrossed in this world. You get addicted to it. You want to know what's going on. And we're gonna move on to the third point that kind of links to the world. When you're doing quests, like a lot of games have filler quests, like fetch quest, go kill this many enemy 3 times, go grab this ingredient. There are no fetch quests, like filler quests in this game. Anything you do has serves a purpose. And let me tell you right now, you can sit here and think about all the quests in the game, and there are so many that stand out that I can't sit here and pick a particular one. Plus, I don't want to spoil anything. So let me just tell you right now, do not rush this game, your first playthrough. Try to like don't be afraid to reload things, scenarios if you feel like it didn't go the way you want to. Don't worry so much about that because you don't want to miss some of these things, and take your time. That's what I did. So the good news is the quests have meaningful purpose, and they do a good job at making it to where you can you'll do one quest and it kind of overlaps with another, so you're not like retreading too many areas like all the time. Like the backtracking is there, but it's like it seems pretty well thought out in that regard, so you don't feel like you're wasting time. So the quests are all the quests are standouts pretty much in my opinion. So I wanted to go ahead and go with that. Then the visuals in this game. I played on pretty much max settings for the most part, and the game is very visually pleasing. It's like the sound in the game, not from the voice acting, from the music, from the effects. Everything is top notch. It's so nice to hear all the little effects when you cast spells. It pretty incredible. I hope you played this game with headphones on. I'm assuming you will if you're playing on computer, on PC. That's what I did. I played it on PC. The PS5 version came out not too long ago, so I didn't have a chance to play that. But this is on PC. So Again, all the visual, audio, everything is just a standout performance in that regard. Cannot like understate how good the voice acting is in this game. So let's go into the gameplay a little bit. I touched on some of the little sound things that are nice with the details, like the particle effects on spells, the actual like way the combat plays out with it being turn based. There's so much level of strategy here where you can do all these scenarios so many different ways. I went into this game with like a kind of a strange party, I guess, from what I was told by people. I had basically all melee. I had Shadowheart, she was a cleric, did some spells with area of effect and things like that, but she also did melee and range with her crossbow at times. So I played it a little strange, but that's okay. It worked. I got through the game, didn't struggle. Early on, I struggled some with the difficulty, but once that's mostly the learning curve. But there, you can tackle these scenarios in such creative ways. You can set it up with using like barrels to knock, a bunch of barrels to blow up your opponents. They do have weight, so you just can't like spam it all the time, and there's a finite amount, of course, so you can't just like just keep buying barrels and just use all barrels for all encounters. But like you can use bombs, you can use, throw traps on the ground, set up traps. You can be stealth like I was. My main character was a rogue assassin, so she was pretty much sneaking up on people at the start of the scenarios to get a jump. So yeah, there's so much level of detail again with your strategies here. So there's really no one way to play this game. And that's kind of where I want to end on with the pros. The last thing is there's so much replayability here that you will seriously, if you are somebody who just wants to spend the rest of the year on a game, this game could be for you because there's so many different like play styles. You can play, be the good. Like I was a good rogue assassin. I was kind of like a Robin Hood type person. How I played. And without going into any more details on story related stuff because of spoilers, I mean, you can go on the evil side, you can do kind of a mix of both, but there are so many different choices here that you're in. They span out throughout the entire like playthrough that depending on what you do in one encounter can affect like other encounters that you're going to possibly have. So you're like the branching paths are insane. So again, there's so much replayability that I cannot wait to do a second playthrough. I'm going to take a break from the game because I'm just ready. 100+ hours through my first playthrough, and I'm ready to move on. But I can't. I can see myself like getting excited for a second playthrough, and then I want to talk about the cons. And I do have one con of the game, and this is the main reason why I don't want to jump into a second playthrough, is because I hit the max level pretty early in Act 3. There are 3 acts. Sorry if that's a spoiler. I don't think it is. If you look at the achievements, you probably can see it. And also, like, I'm pretty sure most people already know that anyway that's watching this video. There's 3 main acts. And pretty early in Act 3, I was max level. And I did not like that too much because when I'm playing role playing games, I want to have a sense of progression, sense of working towards something, and I ran out of that. So got max level. I mean, I probably played for another 15 hours after hitting max level, and by the time I got done with the game, I was ready to be done because I didn't have that sense of progression. Now, also, I chose to play the game a certain way, and it's not a spoiler. I'm not going to say it, or it is actually. But there's a certain item you can use that can help like mitigate the progression. I chose not to use those items because I didn't know how it would impact the ending, so I didn't use them. But that could kind of mitigate the lack of progression by having these items that can help, let's say, spec your character a certain way. But I didn't use those. But it would have been nice to have something to like use all my experience points into. I had so much like overflow of experience that I was just like, eh. And now don't get me wrong, the fights are still challenging towards the end. So like even though I was max level, I wasn't like bulldozing over everything. So there's that. But still, it would have been nice to have something else to progress towards. And that is my only con for this game. Baldur's Gate 3, definitely one of the best games I've played in the past 5 years. And it's fair to say this is the best reviewed, scored game I've had since I started doing these opinions and video reviews. So, go to and tell you right now, Baldur's Gate 3, giving it a 9.5. I was going to give it a lower score because earlier in the me playing this game, I had a lot of crashes, but they patched them out pretty quick. So, no reason to knock them on that. The only issue I had with the game was the progression, and that's just me because I am very thorough. And maybe if I didn't do as many quests or whatever, or if I was doing a different, like an evil playthrough, I might not have hit the max level. But anyway, that's my experience. So again, Larian Studios should be super proud of themselves. They hit a home run for this game. To me, it was one of the greatest experiences I've had in the past 5 years. So I'm very thankful. And again, Baldur's Gate 3, a 9.5, my best score so far on my channel. So congrats, guys.